your faith is like a boat that keeps moving. You know, if something hits you, you're unsure. And sometimes we think we're doing good, but we can easily deceive ourselves.
Get a lot of people that believe in the flat Earth.
Not yet.
Not many.
Yeah, not yet. I don't really like the word belief when we talk about flat Earth, only because it's like, let's try not to believe in stuff anymore, you know, this whole religion and this, I believe in aliens and I believe in astronauts and all this stuff. We've got to be able to test things for ourselves, and for me, water we find is always level. I don't try to deviate too much from that. We can't show we're moving at all. You know, there's a whole lot of things that just go, okay, that doesn't fit with the model we're given.
Yeah.
The way I see the sun, if I'm in different countries, I'm like, I imagine I'm sitting on this globe, and I'm in South Africa, and I'm seeing my winter sunset, and I'm thinking, right now, that's doing this tight circle around England. When I was in London, it's like I can see it rise northeast, and see how it set northwest. You know, it comes around me like this in the summer. But when I'm in South Africa, I'm like, there's no way that I could be having that same sun and that line that it's drawing on me just because I live on this. No. I mean, when you shine a light on a ball like the sun is now, you get a hot spot. You see that hot spot?
Yes.
That's what you should get on the moon. On the moon, it reflects. The moon reflects the same amount of light over its whole face.
Yeah, glows.
What you do, you're taking a little ball of that size. Okay, expand that. Where's the hotspot on this soil here? Where's the hotspot?
Well, I can show you on the internet.
No. Show me where the hotspot is here. Because you're showing me a little ball.
The hotspot is right where I'm standing. But I'm showing you a ball that has a hotspot on it. I'm just saying that if that was the moon,
if that is the Earth, you're looking at something that's like 500 kilometers squared. You don't see a hotspot. There's no such thing.
Okay. So what you're
doing is to justify your argument. You're losing a little ball.
Thanks for interrupting, but let me tell you something. I was about to explain something interesting about the moon. You sound like South African. When I was in South Africa last year, I was blown away to realize that the moon, when I observe the moon, it rotates counterclockwise. But I've been watching it for 5 years from here, rotating clockwise. I was like, what model can explain that? You're never taught to look at the fact that the moon rolls like this, as it does, because you can actually in this country see the crescent moon like this, and if you go later in the night, you'll see it like this. It's rolling like this as it moves across the sky. And I see the counterclockwise roll in South Africa. Not explainable by any of the science that I'm aware of. So that's an observation. Another observation is, interestingly, in about an hour's time,
it is.
Let me finish. Another observation I can make is that in an hour's time or so, I'll be able to see the sun, the moon.
You obviously
the moon will be up in the day. The moon will be up in the day for me, and the shadow of the moon, the half moon, will be blue, the same color as the sky. But my mate, who's in Turkey, or a few hours after it's just had sunset, if I ask him to go and look at the moon, he'll say the moon is black on the half that's a shade, and the answer is blue. So I was looking at the same thing.
You're more into astrology as astronomy. It sounds like you're more into astrology as astronomy.
I'm into observation.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
so what do you make of my observation? That it's rolling counterclockwise. I mean, you're probably not even aware that it's rolling clockwise.
So the moon doesn't roll.
No, I'm telling you what I observed. So you explain this to me. When I stand here like this, like I've got the Americas like this, right? And you see the Americas like this, and in 6 hours' time you see the Americas like this. Explain that. If it hasn't rolled like a coin or a wheel through the sky, and I've been observing this for 5 years in this country, and you can watch the eye, if you can catch it early enough in the day, you can watch the eye that you see turn full 5 hours of rotation just from here. But if you go into America, you'd see more of that rotation. How are you doing? You'd see more of that rotation. And if you went back to Australia, you'd see less. You'd see it further back in the rotational cycle. This is what's happening to the moon. It's uncomfortable. Don't be upset. Go and do the observation. That's what science is. If you're into science, bro, do the observation, measure it, and then hypothesize.
You can't clearly believe this.
No, I don't believe it. I know it. You believe NASA. You believe in the religion of we went to the moon.
You don't know what I believe
come from Big Bang.
You don't know what I believe in.
You wouldn't have a problem with me talking about this
No,
if this wasn't upsetting your testicles.
But this is a. So now I'm upsetting my testicles.
Yeah, this is what this is. You see, we're in a big gay system. This is a gay system. That's why they get a penis-shaped thing to fly up in the Great Mother, and the boys are all cheering this big penis flying into the sky. Look at my boys going. They call them astronauts, and they put them in like little white sperm coats, and they're going to go up there and fuck with our Great Mother. That's what they're doing. It's all sex magic. That's why they call it the Big Bang. It's all a Big Bang. It's sex. And guess who came up with the Big Bang? a Catholic priest. What a surprise. George Lemaitre, a Catholic priest. Big bang. Hey, do the research. I was a believer like you until 47, my friend.
You don't know what I
was just
believe.
like
You don't know what I believe.
No, I don't, but I know you don't
You make
know. that
wild
God is never-
assumptions. You make wild assumptions.
Flat.
I believe that water is always level, and our sea level across Earth is the same.
Earth is flat in short words.
Kind of.
Yeah. So why don't you go travel to the edge? Travel to the edge.
See, that's
Take
the
some photographs.
stupidity.
Take
That's
some
the
photographs.
stupidity
Go to the
that
edge,
I get.
I'd like to see the
how many
photographs.
people say that?
I would like to see the photographs. Imagine you taking a selfie and you
They
and
won't
behind
allow
you.
us to go to the edge because you've got the Antarctic, and no
Who's
one
they?
tell
Who's
us
they?
how.
Who's they?
You don't know the Antarctic Treaty?
I know of it, but I don't know the details.
Some research.
I know of it.
Look at the countries,
After
the
Admiral Byrd did 30 years of exploration in Antarctic, they locked it down, and all the big countries of the world have never broken that treaty.
Okay, well you break it. You be the first to go and break it. Who
I
cares?
did on the boat.
Who gives a fuck what they say?
Just a few years ago, did, and the military turned them away. You cannot go down there without permission. Why not?
And they won't even reveal how far the
You need
Antarctic
to make
goes.
excuses for your belief, and why they don't allow you free movement over the earth. You should be allowed free movement over the earth, brother. But you're happy to be
We're
a
not even
slave.
allowed free movement in Europe, let alone the earth.
Exactly, because the prison is getting smaller and smaller. Why? Because the prisoners are going along with it. What happened in 2020? Most prisoners lined up and took one up the arse and put a face snapping, a panty liner over their mouth. This is what big grown-up Ben
Did you get
did.
COVID?
What?
Did you get COVID?
No. I don't, let's talk about my personal health. People
do you
get
know
flu.
someone? Alright, do you know someone
People
got
get
COVID?
all
Do you
the
know
flu
do you know
all
someone
the
got
time.
COVID? Do you know
I know
someone got
people
COVID?
who so-called died of it. I know people who
That's
so-called died of it.
not evidence.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about when you say that, you're assuming that now all of a sudden, because you have this knowledge, you can lean over the fence tomorrow morning and tell me to put a nappy on my face because you're scared of my
I
breath.
am not telling you to do anything like
I'm
that.
telling
I don't
you
care.
that if I can tell you to slap yourself in the face with a face panty liner, then I'm your master. You are not your own master. If I can tell you to take a needle, if I can tell you to wash your hands every time you come to the shop, dirty boy, then you are not a man.
It's so nice to wash
You
your
are
hands, though.
children being told what to do by big daddy government
I love
and
the-
big mommy medicine.
I love the fact that
who
there are
wants
people.
to
I love the
tell
fact
you
that there are
what to
people
do.
like you, because otherwise you won't have those that know and those that don't know. There has to be a
I'm trying to
disparity.
increase the number of people who know, but the majority are fast asleep, just like you.
I guess you keep the establishment on their toes a bit, don't you? Like, if you people like you didn't exist, the established like scientists and politicians, they'd just be content with their knowledge. They wouldn't feel challenged. They get complacent. Whereas you challenge it and like you force them to bring the evidence for their claims. So I guess there is a benefit for you.
Well, thank you. And there is no evidence for these crazy claims that we're spinning. Like I say, point the direction we're spinning it, and tell me how fast we're spinning. Right now.
Where are we standing now?
Yeah. Which direction are we
We're
spinning?
spinning in that direction.
Really?
Yes.
At what speed?
It's about 33,000 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't know your model.
It is. It's relative speed.
No.
Well,
It's
relative.
1,000 miles an hour at the equator. Bruce, it's 24,000 miles. It's
But you're assuming that our universe is standing, our planetary system is standing still.
No,
They're
no.
not.
You're
It's not.
assuming that it's moving.
It is
I'm
moving.
saying that the lights are moving, but we're not.
What do you mean the lights are moving? Which lights?
Lights in the sky. the
What-
sun,
what do you
the
think
moon,
those lights
stars.
are?
Those stars.
Stars.
Or energy portals, possibly.
You say you won't go to the edge because of the Antarctic Treaty.
Yeah.
That's not the perfect excuse, though, is it? Because you can just go travel through the North Pole or
Do you know that
through the
we've
west
never,
or the east.
we've never chartered a
go back to the
flight.
edge question.
We've never.
Yeah,
we've
you
never
can see the edge.
chartered a
You can see the
flight.
edge through that way.
Where's the edge?
We've never taken a plane underneath the globe.
Well, why don't
We've
we go
never
to the
come
edge?
in from 1 degree, from South America to
Why don't we go
Australia.
to the edge?
You should fly underneath. It would be the quickest way, right?
Okay,
The quickest way would be to go underneath, but we've never gone 180 degrees out the other side.
We have.
Never.
We have.
Just
We've
go
done it
through
with a
the
solar
North Pole.
plane. We've done it with a
Travel
solar
here, travel
plane.
to Scotland, and from Scotland just travel north to the North Pole and reach the edge that way.
I think that possibly. I think that what you're getting into is just more tundra, more and more tundra. The further you go that way,
But why don't
and
you
that's as
guys-
far as we can experience.
Is there always an excuse for not going to the edge?
Yeah, why don't you do the edge?
Not even trying to
Yeah,
go
why
to
don't
the
you
edge.
go to the edge?
Can
Can you take a photo at the edge?
Why don't you?
Does it selfie
Does it
you at the
exist?
edge?
Well,
Does
if
it
you guys are
exist?
claiming outer space is real,
I'm not.
why don't you go there?
We have.
I'm just listening to you.
I have.
No, well, this is the craziest of claims.
That's a photo from
Craziest
outer
of
space.
claims. That's a photo from outer space.
Yeah, that's from outer space. That was taken by NASA.
What, and this one here? What about these?
I'm talking about that specific photo there.
That one there. Do you know that they've
Why
admitted?
don't you take a picture
do you
of
know
the
they've
edge?
admitted that's a drawing?
No, it's not. It's not.
This guy here, his name is Rob Simmons. He made the blue marble shot that everybody had on their iPad in iPhone in 2020,
Yeah, why didn't-
2021.
Where's your
national marble?
The blue marble. It's called the blue marble. Look, he's on Time Magazine or National Geographic.
Where's
He's
the
the
edge?
guy who did
Where's
the
the edge?
artwork.
Where's the edge?
Why do you need an edge?
Because you're
Because
telling
you
it's
live
an
on a
end.
ball, bro. It's all edges. Have you ever lived on a ball? Have you ever played football on a ball or on a pitch? See, just because you play football with a ball
If the
doesn't
earth
mean you
is
can
flat,
live
it
on a
must
ball.
have an edge. That's
Why?
by
Why
definition.
should have an edge. That's
What edge is it back?
see, that's the programming we got when we were 6 years old.
No, so where's
When we
the
were
edge?
6 years old, they said archaic people believed that there was a plate
Well, evidently we still
that
have
had
people
an
who believe
edge
the
and
earth is
that the
flat.
boats could
Not-
float
You're
off
avoiding
it.
the question.
I'm not saying. I'm not making a claim.
I'm making a claim that the earth is round. You're making it flat, so there has to be an edge. So where's the edge?
Okay, so now we're getting a little bit deeper. I hope your mind can handle this. I say that we look to nature for the answer to the question as to where we live. And when I look to nature, I find that every plant, every animal, every fruit, every vegetable has a skin. So I say that our earth must have a skin. Unlike the globe believers who say that no, this is the one time in nature, the wet stuff doesn't need a skin. Go like the Jews, take it off if you must. But let me tell you, there is a skin around our earth, and if you cut it open like an egg, and you open it up,
you answer the
yeah,
question?
I am trying to answer the question. Have you got the concentration span of a newt? Let me tell you that if you open this thing up and you cut the orange open, you find the seed pod inside. And where those seeds are is where our continents are. So we live inside a giant fruit. And what we find in science,
Oh, a banana.
I'm giving you an example.
melon.
Well, it might be for you.
Avocado.
But if you think you come from monkeys, it might be a banana universe. Now, I say that all the heavy stuff is settled to the bottom of the fruit, and all the light stuff, as it would do,
What about an orange?
has settled
Would
to
you
the top.
be around there? What about if it's an orange? If you live in an orange and an apple, that would confirm the globe theory, wouldn't it? To an extent.
Why?
Because you said we live in a fruit. So if the
Yeah,
fruit
but-
was an orange or an apple,
But does the fruit, it's quite smart, probably smarter than humans now, the fruit knows to grow its fruit on the inside of the peel, not on the outside, as you like to claim.
Okay, but still, if we
No,
live,
that's
we are,
okay.
if we
There's
are,
no
okay,
way.
I get you.
The
But
truth
if we are
is that there's
encapsulated
nothing
in
in
a,
nature that cannot be without
if
a
we are
skin.
encapsulated within an apple, or within
The big
a,
apple, you ever heard of that?
well, yeah, within an apple, or within a, I
You know the
don't know,
little apple?
or an orange, or an orange.
Yeah.
Surely that means the Earth is ultimately a globe. Just an apple looking
Well,
one.
I would say that the universe might be a globe, but what we stand on, my friend, is a football pitch, is a plane. The roof might be a dome at the football pitch. Does that mean
Are you
that
sure? Why do you go? Why do you? Have you
Has
ever,
the Millennium Stadium got a roof like this, or the Millennium
wait,
Dome?
wait.
Hey, so does that mean they have to make a dome floor?
it's so you're saying the sky's a dome. You've been watching The Simpsons. You're like in The Simpsons, they have Springfield, they have that dome.
Yes.
You've been watching too many of those movies. That's what you've been watching, too many of
Yeah,
those movies.
that's a 33rd degree Freemason, that Matt Grinnick. He knows the truth.
Yeah.
He knows the truth.
Yeah.
That
Why do
there
you
is a
go-
roof.
what-
Thermodynamics is science.
Why don't you travel all the
Thermodynamics
way
says
up
you must
and touch
contain
the
pressure.
dome? Why don't you travel all the way up, find some sort of ladder, I don't know, find some sort of aeroplane, and fly all the way and touch the dome? And get a video of yourself touching that dome.
Why is it necessary for the simpletons of the globe to tell me that all the time?
Just prove
Why
it.
don't you go and measure water? It's so simple. Don't be retarded by your scientists. Scientism
What's
is
water
a
doing?
religion.
I thought it was an apple.
Water is level. That's why we say sea level, by the way. And all topography uses the same zero. Start on the east coast, go up 500 meters, end up on the west coast, same sea level. And I could make that an island, I could make that a continent, same. Don't be dumbed down by the science that had you think you come from monkeys and that this came from a random explosion. That is bullshit. This was created on purpose with you at the center, and that God intended to express itself, whatever God is, express itself through you. This is the avatar of your higher self, which is
Do you
associated
believe?
with
Do you
the
believe the Earth is flat because the Bible tells you it's flat?
When I was 12 years old,
Is that why? Yes or no?
I'm answering the question. Do I have to do it in one syllable?
Preferably.
When I was
Preferably.
12 years old, I joked with the preachers, because I wasn't into religion, that their Bible is a flat earth book. And loads of religious people are so dumbed down that they cannot, as adults, read that the Bible is clearly saying this earth is not moving. It's clearly saying the sun and light and moon are small lights made days after, time after the earth. But this science would have you believe it's the other way around. It's the sun, then the earth turns up, then the dinosaurs get fucked up, and then you get lucky through the monkeys. Bullshit! God created this place so that he could have you and have this experience
What
of
do you
Like, that
believe
is
the earth is flat
stolen.
because the Bible told you it's
No,
flat?
I don't believe the Bible. The Bible is a good tool, but I don't believe the Bible. I don't have a religion to hold on to. That's why I stand here, because none of these religious people can touch me, and you religious people of the globe get annoyed with me. Why? Because I don't hold to a religion. I don't need a belief system.
Are you a flat earther too,
Yes, guys.
So we're looking at this diagram, and we're seeing, is this saying that the temperature at these layers of the atmosphere is top higher for us?
Yeah.
Is that what that says?
It says 0 degrees over here.
Yeah.
So it gets warmer.
No, 0 to 1,700. That's 3,000 Fahrenheit, by the way. So the equipment that we've got cannot handle high heat. That's what we're saying. So our satellites, if you Google satellites in space, every one of them is a cartoon. Everyone is a painting, CGI. There is not one photograph taken by any astronaut saying, here's my photograph of a satellite in space. So what I say the satellites are, and NASA is the biggest consumer of helium in the world, by the way. They use big helium balloons and they float them up from Sweden and other places in America, Canada, places like that. They float them up high into maybe into the certainly up into the troposphere. I'd say up to about 200,000 feet. And they float them up there, and they can float them there for months. Back in the 1950s, the military were already doing this in America, where they were already doing this with these massive balloons. Some they even used like a tinfoil balloon that they could point a signal at and get it to bounce back to another place. This is what they were doing in the 1950s.
You can see satellites with telescopes sometimes.
I mean, I wouldn't deny there are objects in the sky. The scope, the capacity of our telescopes, I think, is overstated in the orders of magnitude. So when we think we're looking at a light from millions of light years away, we're actually looking at something that might be thousands of miles away, or that kind of thing. Or
That's
even
still quite
possibly
far,
even
isn't it?
closer.
Because that's even this, like, thermosphere is just 310 miles away, so we can still see things.
Brother, with all the greatest respect, if you think that you can see a washing machine at 3,000 miles, you're smoking some good weed.
No, but I mean, if we could see
The ISS is a lot bigger than a
that's
washing machine.
310
How big is it?
Massive. It's like tens of meters long.
Tens of meters, I'd give you that. In fact, I'd give you a football field. I'd give you the size of a football field. That's what I would give you, right? Now, hold on. Bigger than a 747, but not a lot bigger than a 747, okay? This is where we're at with the ISS. Now, 747 at 40,000 cruising, right? When I look up there, tiny. Fucking tiny. Do you know that's 10 miles?
With a telescope, though, it would be a lot bigger.
Yeah, but people say they can see the ISS with their own naked eyes. They say they can see it, right? Well, I'm saying to you so let me tell you about the telescopes. Firstly,
During the day, you only see it during the
firstly, let me
it reflects the light from the dark sky. It's a different observation.
You know, this is an interesting thing. Okay, we're getting a little bit off track, but let me tell you quickly that I think the ISS is a stage show. I think it's possible that they could fly something in the sky that would make us think that we're seeing that. But if it's a football field, right, that if you fly, when you fly back to America or whatever, if you fly over any city at 40,000 feet and try and find a football field in that city, you'll struggle. That's at 10 miles. At 20 miles, really hard. 50 miles, impossible. 100 miles, 200 miles, no way. So the idea that we're seeing something at 200 miles, I'm not sure about. Even if you take your satellite, if you're honest, you will take your telescope and point it from a mountaintop down and see what you can resolve from a city 10 miles away, 20 miles away. Can you really take a man or let's say a bus, a big bus, from 10 miles away? Can you really bring that up and fill your zoom?
With a telescope, I feel like you could.
Do you know how
Try
lighthouse
that.
works?
Yes.
Lighthouse.
I'm glad you brought up the
The ship
lighthouse.
can see lighthouse from far away at night because they emit light.
Okay.
That's
so
why they are seen.
Perfect.
at night.
So I'm
but
glad
you won't
brought-
see this lighthouse during the day from the same distance because it's too small.
Okay. So now how far could we see a lighthouse from?
I don't know. I'm giving you an example. It depends how high you are,
Okay,
how high
so-
elevated
okay,
you
so
are.
I'll give you- I'll
That's
help
why
you.
ships get crow's nest to
Yes.
see
The higher you are, the
fire.
further you can see something. That's a perspective lie that's used to say the ship's going over the horizon. But let me get back to your lie. So the furthest I believe that we can see a lighthouse is about 50 or 60 miles. That's the furthest we can see a lighthouse. Now a lighthouse is designed with a very powerful light. It's got a lot of electricity running it through it. It's got a lot of electricity running through it, and it is blinding if you're standing right near it. What they want you to believe is that 4 times further away, the ISS is reflecting more light than a lighthouse that you can see from 4 times further away. Now, don't tell me, oh, because it's coming through the vacuum of space. I'm not accepting that, because there is the inverse square law that says for you halving the distance, you halve luminosity. Half distance, half luminosity. So if you go the other way around, the same with the moon, you go the other way around. The moon is so bright, it can light the whole Earth. You go the other way around, it must be so bright that when they landed on the moon, they would have melted them from the heat and there would be no grey footage. It would be all whited out from, there's too much light up here.
Do you know how to
Well,
do the
if there's
math,
so
bro?
much light, so the reflection of ISS would be way more powerful than the reflection of anything by the sun here, because there's no atmosphere.
So I'm giving you the most powerful light that man can build is a lighthouse. That's typically what we
Surely
do.
we can build more powerful lights.
But
than
you
light.
gave me the example of the lighthouse.
It's a very
That
rude
was
de-
your
because
example.
it's a simple device that anybody knows how it works. That's why I
and
use
it's,
this
and it's
example.
designed, it's got
For
mirrors
example,
inside.
stadium lights
Then
are
you can-
probably stronger than the lighthouse. I believe
Really?
yes, because you need to lighten up the whole area.
But they use lots of lights, don't they? They don't use one light. A lighthouse is one light with mirrors to kind of make and magnify that light and make it super powerful. But you'd like me to believe that this white little plane that's up there 200 miles away is reflecting so much light that I can see it like a
Yes, there's
star
lots of
traveling
solar
through the
panels that
sky.
reflects it.
Solar panels.
Yeah.
But the solar panels, oh come on man. And you know, realize...
It's actually
you
quite
real-
a big area.
Yeah, you
that it
realize,
covers.
okay, why would the solar panels be facing the Earth?
Well, they're facing the sun. That's how they reflect.
Then they can't be facing the Earth, bro.
But that's not
Reflect.
the only
It's
person.
nighttime.
Sun hits it, reflects it, and then how you see it. Have
So
you
it
seen a
doesn't
mirror?
you
once?
know,
If
you guys,
you do
you guys
any of
must
the math
believe in.
to
Hold on,
prove your
hold on.
point.
No, maths is magic.
Can you get a whiteboard out here?
Maths
If
is-
you can
maths
prove it
is
with
magic.
math, I'll
I've
listen.
Okay,
heard
show me
this
the
is
formula for
ISS, this is
curvature.
sun. That's how I see it.
Now,
Because it hits ISS and I see the reflection, I don't see.
Because it's the same thing for the moon.
So
okay.
it's
Have you
not
guys
facing
ever
the air,
heard
it's
of a, have you ever heard of a lunar eclipse?
Yeah.
You know what a lunar
Shadow of
eclipse
the
is?
Earth moves over the moon.
Excuse me?
Where the shadow of the Earth moves across the
The shadow of the Earth moves across the moon, or is it that the moon moves into the shadow called the penumbra and umbra, created by the light being behind the moon, behind the sun? Yes? Yes. What? The sun is behind the Earth, and then the moon moves in front of the Earth. Apparently, this is the religion. It moves in front and moves into the shade of the Earth. Yes? Yes. And that's 250,000 miles away. It's inside of this big shade. Yes? And yet you tell me that your ISS is going through that big shade and reflecting sunlight.
No, it won't.
You can't have it both ways, boys. You can't have it both ways.
I'm not saying that.
Well, but most of the time
The
you can see
Earth
the moon
is
because it's not in
tilted.
the shade.
It's a
Only
3D
occasionally
space,
does
not
it move
2D
into the
space.
shade.
Very rare is it in
So
shade.
most of the time you
why we
you,
have
you can see the
seasons.
moon because it's not in the shade, right? And only very
I know,
occasionally.
and that's one of those oddities. Like, think about it like this, right? If the moon was, we all looking at the same moon, you're in America, I'm here, and somewhere else here, we're all 5 of us are looking at the moon from different perspectives, right?
Yeah.
But only you get to see the light show, and yet we're both watching exactly the same face. How does that happen?
Wait, what do
What
you
do you
mean?
mean by the light show?
Well, when the moon goes into the dark phase,
Yeah.
why are you only seeing that? I'm watching the moon at the same time. I'm like, how can you be seeing it dark when I'm seeing it reflected? If it's in the shadow, it's in the shadow. If it's in the sunlight, it's in the... It can't be both.
It's at the same
It cannot be both.
Not at the same time, right?
It is at the same time.
No, because night's not at the same time in the US as it is here.
No, that's quite right. You're quite right. That's very observant. But do you realize that people can see the moon for hours in front and hours behind of the middle of the moon, just like the sun? You know, you see the moon for 6 hours that side, and then it moves to a midpoint, and then 6 hours that side, right?
Yeah, that's
so it's
right.
over your head for 12 hours.
Yeah,
Yes.
approximately.
So
Well,
that
depending
means
on
for
the
some of
time
your
the year.
time, it's with someone else.
Yes.
Yes. So it means that when the sun comes, the moon comes, and it won't be long before we can find the moon in the daytime, because it'll be just along now very soon. That it means that I'm looking at the moon, because I can look at the moon while my American friends are looking at the moon. If I get up later tonight or at the right phase of the moon, if you're only 6-8 hours ahead of me, the moon's got 12 hours to travel over my head. Trust me, at the same time, my American buddies are seeing the moon. That's a fact. And I'll tell you what else is a fact. That moon, if you start to wake up and look at it for yourself, is rolling like a coin in the sky. And it does that every day. And if you're in America, you will see...
pocket, don't you?
Yeah. I'm busy talking. I'm busy talking. The moon rolls like a coin, like this, every day. It rolls across the sky. And when you're in the southern hemisphere, it rolls counterclockwise. And in the northern hemisphere, it rolls clockwise. This is an observation I'm offering you. You can go and make it yourself. Got a dome. What do you want my ball for?
Just... Okay, here's America and here's... So when the moon's approximately here, we can both see it.
Yeah.
But then we both see a lunar eclipse, don't we?
No, we don't.
At the same.
That's the crazy part. We don't see the lunar eclipse because, like the last one,
But
it was only...
Yeah, but it only lasts for just like a half an hour or so, usually, doesn't
you
it?
and I were both we're standing here looking at a stadium light, say 500 meters away.
Yeah.
And you could be there and I could be here. We would both, if they put a shade over half of it, we would both see that.
Not necessarily, because the light goes out, and if, let's say, here's the light, here am I, and here are you, and then you only. Sorry, I'm struggling with my English.
That's all right, bro.
You only cover half of it, then you might only cover this half, and that one still shines to me. You know what I mean?
If you and I are both looking at the same light, if I could see the light that you're looking at, then I will see it being covered. End of story. End of story. That's just, try it. You can find an experiment if you want to, but everyone looking at the same light will notice the light being occluded if it's being occluded. But we're not looking at the same object. We're not looking at the same object. If we were, then we would see it getting shaded. All of us at the same time. No, I think that you have your own moon. I think that we each carry our own moon, sun, and all the stars, and you're actually reading a projection that's coming past, like those old music scrolls. As it scrolls past, and you see, depending on where you happen to be standing on the football field, you're either this goal, you're Arsenal, or you're Tottenham, or whatever. And and depending on where you happen to live, you will see it in your own, in your own way, because it's the same kind of story happening for thousands of years, all of recorded time. The pyramids, they're lined up to stars that still line up with those pyramids today. You cannot be in an explosion and expect, it's so far away, the pyramids won't notice, it's just too far away for the pyramids to notice. No, that needs to be pinpoint precision, accurate for thousands of years. You don't get that in a Big Bang.
And they're lying to us about how far away the sun is, I believe.
Well, it's all made up. It's all made up. And I mean, they've moved the sun 13 times in the last 100 years. And millions of miles of difference, from the lowest of 3 million miles to 103 million.
Who are they?
Science. Accepted science. Remember, there is a science academy. And if we're being lied to about religion and science, then the Royal Academies, all of these universities were set up with the express intention of taking the brightest minds and misleading them.
And how are you explaining flood and tide?
Flood and tide?
Yes.
How am I explaining them? I don't have to explain them, but I have some theories.
Okay.
Firstly, let me say that the moon has been demonstrated to be in different positions than the tides, and that none of the big lakes, the Great Lakes in America, have tides. None of the Swedish lakes sea has tides.
But wouldn't that be explained by the lacking mass of water? Because the ocean has way more water in it than a lake.
Surely something that was pulling on something would have more force on the lesser weight.
No, because it's like accumulating in an ocean because it's so much mass. So if it only rises like 1%, it's way more
that's an interesting
because
theory.
you know what I mean.
Okay, but also bullshit. No, because the Great Lakes are as big as a sea. Mediterranean Sea, the Black Sea, these are seas, right? And they have salt water.
Yeah, but they are connected to an ocean, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they might be, but I think they might be through the Mediterranean, Gibraltar, and the Suez Canal. And the Suez Canal is 120 kilometers long, and it's level from end to end. Level. If it wasn't level, they'd have to have locks like they got with Panama.
Yeah, or a stream.
The stream's going downhill, of course. The stream is going downhill, but they're
Yeah,
not.
but they could have a different level and still be connected, couldn't
Could
they?
you imagine that? So if you
Yeah,
had,
but then it would just be like a river.
Oh, now we get to tides. Well, now we're getting to tides because you can have tidal movement from one body that's higher to a lower body, yeah? That you would get a tidal movement. So if you had like one end of the Suez Canal was 10 foot higher,
Yeah.
then the water would just be gushing the other way, wouldn't it? It would be like
Yeah, but it would just be a river, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And rivers don't always flow really fast.
No, but it's not. It's level. It's been engineered level. And the water level is the same. So you've got the same pier height for 120 kilometers and the same water height for 120 kilometers.
So you're telling me that water rises and sinks at the same height all over the globe?
No, not at all. And it's not a globe. I'm saying
or
that
all over the
So let's just
plate.
say, okay, let's just say like we reduce our Earth, flat Earth, down to a swimming pool the size of an Olympic pool.
Uh-huh.
And you jump in one corner of the Olympic pool.
Yeah.
Where are the waves going to be biggest is right where you jumped in.
Exactly.
And right at the end of the pool is going to be very smooth. It's going to be, the waves are going to be very smooth.
Yes, it's
So,
right.
so some areas on Earth, like here in England, they get 25-foot tides. You know, they can get a swell up of 25 foot. But other places, like on the equator, they've got 2-3 foot tides. And you think, well, surely if this Earth, this moon is pulling on this water, it should be pulling highest or hardest there.
But
So
can't
no, I
it be
think it's-
explained by the topography?
Say again?
Couldn't the height of the tides and floods be explained by
Yeah.
the topography under the sea and over the sea?
Absolutely, particularly if you've got a moving body of water. So once you've got once you've got a current, like you've got down Africa or up the west coast of Africa, they've got these big currents running, right? And so if you're coming against stuff underneath that changes the topography, then that will change the swells and the direction of movement and so on. But there's a very clear downward, down East Africa, all the way down to Antarctic. There's a current that runs down there, and there's another current that runs up the west coast of Africa, and you can actually see them. And so our system works with pressure. It's got, I think, pumps. We all know in
So
mainstream science.
it's human-made?
No, humans could not make this. We are the product of this system.
So God made...
There's a creator.
Or the creator made pumps. But
No. The creator made the system to work almost like your body. Your body, if I have to bring the Earth to your body, you got a whole series of pumps, right?
Yeah.
Do you control them? No.
Sort of, because...
Don't shit. Listen, your heart and your lungs will work automatically. Your body is working, your kidney is working, your livers are working. You don't even know it. Yes?
Yeah, I don't know it, but still, the part of my brain that controls it is still part of me, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're not actually telling your kidney to clean yourself.
No, I'm not telling it to.
Okay, so this is a living, I think, a living
Okay,
Earth.
yeah,
And
go
it
on.
cleans itself, it knows how to clean itself, it has its own kidneys, it has its own lungs. These are the lungs that we're in. So the breath, when it takes a breath, then we get these winds, and when it breathes out, we get the wind in the opposite direction. Same with the tides. I think the tides are some kind of in and out, twice a day push. If you think about your body, if it was that big and it had pulse twice a day, boom, boom, and then those pulses would be like the water getting pushed, and then you get a tide, then you get tidal movement in that area. That's tides.
Can I ask you a quick question? Sorry? Can I ask you a quick question? Is your perception of where we are, this is my rubbish globe, if you could, hypothetically, here we go, if you could drill down, like obviously we can't, but if you could drill right down and come out here, you would see people's feet. So you just drilling. That's your perception. Okay, so you think you'd see people's feet? That would have to, right? But they'll be standing up like this.
Well, I mean, obviously you couldn't because of the distance, but like,
No, if you could,
let's
like-
imagine with a lens and someone could sit on the other side and you could see their feet, or you can,
But can you really imagine that? Like you're drilling, and all of a
Why
sudden you
not?
see someone's feet.
Why not? Well, I just don't see any reason why not. I mean, it's a weird.
I mean, that would
weird
prove a
thought.
globe, by the way. That would prove a globe.
Yeah,
of course.
But like,
But when I ask people this before, what they say is at some point during the drilling you would flip because of gravity. But you didn't say that, which is fair enough.
well, the gravity would, like, if you were to jump down and you have friction due to air resistance, you would like flow or fall not just drive through, but till maybe, I don't know, 80% through, and then go back, like with a pendulum.
Pendulum.
Pendulum, yes.
Swinging thing.
Yeah, and it keeps swinging.
Fantastic. Can you live on a globe?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Can you prove it? Without
Can
using-
you
without
prove
using-
it
without
flat?
using NASA?
The Earth is flat?
Well, I can prove that water's level.
Yeah, listen, I watch a lot your movies and your truth about I don't know what, and that's you proving just your stupidity of the point.
So, but have you looked for curvature of water?
What's up?
Have you looked for the bending of water? The curvature of water?
Yeah.
You found it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Where
Yeah.
did you find that?
Of the globe, our globe.
The globe is an idea. You can't actually say that's your
That's
answer.
idea? No, that's not idea.
Okay.
You know, that's what you guys say. That gravity is theory, right?
Yes, it is true.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So
Don't-
just because you pick something up off the floor, you give it energy and it falls back down, doesn't mean that water is going to stick under a ball. That you've got to prove. That you've got to prove. You can't prove that, so you need NASA and Disney. They give you this idea that you can.
I think Disney is better for me how NASA. You
airplanes.
know, Disney is
and
better.
NASA are the same people. Do you know that the guy who started Disney is good friends and best friends with the guy who started NASA and
yeah?
Scientology?
Okay,
All
that's
three of
good.
them.
That's good
All
to
three
know.
of them were
That's-
1960s Church of Satan. Anton LaVey. Go and look it up. They all were together.
Okay. But
They
I
want
don't
to
want to
make
be
you-
on
they want to
YouTube.
make
But
you-
I don't
they-
want to be on YouTube.
Oh, it's too late. I'm live.
Oh, that's a lie.
Why is it even a problem that the Earth is round? I mean, but what's your?
I don't like us being lied to. You know why? Because people in the slave camp will go along with anything they get told. Anything. See what happened in 2020? Men were made in pussies. Why? They had to wear panty liners on their mouth just to show what little boys we all are. I bet you locked down.
What?
I bet you locked down.
I looked down what?
2020.
No, I was outside. I was outside. Yeah.
So you know the governments are lying. Look at this. You know the governments are lying. You know that?
Yeah. of
But
course.
the whole of humanity
but-
went to lockdown.
But it
The
was-
whole of humanity goes on lockdown in 2020, right?
But who cares
Because they
about
don't-
them lying about the Earth's surface? Like,
Well,
I mean,
because it's like I say to people, if you were playing chess on a ball, and I said now you can play chess on a flat, it would be much better. If you play football on a flat pitch or a ball, pitch is better. And then of course, if you realize that your government is working with all the other governments of the world to kind of keep you under control and keep us in camps, keep us paying taxes, keep us
You could
poor.
say that about anything else. You could say that about like the Earth being made of pudding or something, and people are covering it up too.
Yeah. Well, I can't make the Earth being made of pudding is interesting, but I think it's an electromagnetic Earth, and I can say that Earth is water's always level. If you were building stairs, if you're a builder, you'd know that you have to take a spirit level and make all those stairs perfectly level. Well, if I took that spirit level and put it over a lake and came down the mountains and go, oh yeah, every lake is parallel to the next lake, when is it ever curving lake? Because it's going to get to horizontal, and be parallel to the horizon.
you can see it's curved.
Yeah, the roof might be curved. The roof might be curved. And you have a dome of vision. You see, your vision extends 10 miles, 10 mile, 10 mile, 10 mile, 10 mile. You see? That's your dome. Work it out, guys.
If the Earth is flat, then how was it created? Because there's theories for how the round Earth was created by all the.
Yeah, the Big Bang.
Yeah.
The Catholic Big Bang, eh? You love the Catholic Big Bang. It was given to us by the Catholic priest George Lemaitre, the Big Bang Theory. So I say it like this: like if we're inside of an orange, the orange has no idea that there's a tree outside and that there's a whole orchard of oranges outside. So I don't know that we can know how it came about. Let's just say that the orange wouldn't know that the tree had to be seeded and that tree had to grow 20 years and then blah 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 blah. That had to happen. So I don't claim great knowledge when I talk about what I think. Because if I live inside of an orange, I know nothing about outside of the pith. We're outside of the skin, no, I don't know anything about outside of that. I say we live inside of a fruit, like orange. The dense stuff is the stones at the bottom. The water level is the median point where gas becomes gas and water is liquid. And that everything else gets thinner and thinner as you go up.
So you just want people to accept that the Earth is flat, so
No.
that we can't.
No, I want to accept that
make it
you've been mistreated like a monkey, and you've been kept in a child's mind, a child's state, and that you held that way so as that you can be enslaved, and that you enslave your own children by putting them through the education system, by the way. And then boom, line up once, 3 times a year now for the kids. Let's get your state juice, your state poison. That's what they want, and they want to have you think that you come from monkeys and that all we do is go to war with each other, and that you must go and pay all your taxes, pay all your bills, and also the interest on that overpriced house you're going to have to buy and work until you're too old to enjoy it. So that's the system that you guys are cheering for, essentially. I say that actually we're all inheritors of the earth, and each of us should have equal value. Each of us should come here attracting an intrinsic equal value, said to be worth the weight in gold at birth. That's what we should all have, and you should have freedom to do with it as you please and to travel the earth and to learn what you want to learn. Break yourself if you want to break yourself, that's up to you. But no one should be your master. There should be no master but you. But the thing is, because we behave like children, they can tell us to go home, stay home for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, wear a tamper fanny towel on our face. They do all of that sort of stuff to us. They think they can do that because why? We are so cuckolded. We have given away our consent. We are no longer our own master. And so we stand by and let Boris Johnson, and then when he's the clown and proven to be a clown, then the next guy comes along, oh, he's going to be much better, like Tony Blair. Earth is flat, not a globe. Water is always level. We're not spinning 1,000 miles an hour. That's complete horse shit. The sky and the lights have been moving in the same patterns for thousands of years, all recorded. The pyramids are lined up with these same stars. The ancients were much smarter. They knew where we lived, and they knew who we are. Yeah, take a picture. Please do. This is probably the smartest debate, one of the smartest debate channels going at the moment. It's called Flat Earth Debate on YouTube.
I recognize Goku.
Huh?
Yeah, I recognize Goku.
Okay. All right.
He's pretty smart.
All right. What that? Okay. Okay. All right. So that's your thing. Yeah. So this is harder and harder for people that are more caught up with the digital kind of, online world. In reality, things are not moving. If we were spinning 1,000 miles an hour, common sense says that the wind should be attributed to that quite high. That the trees should be dragging the atmosphere as it spins past the atmosphere. But no, the atmosphere is not moving. Earth is flat, not a globe. You can't live on a rock. You can't walk under a stone. Stones don't float. Earth is flat, guys. It is funny, but you should look into this. Free your mind. Free your mind. You can't walk under a rock.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
I watched a couple of your videos.
Oh, thanks.
I don't totally agree with the idea of this idea, but I definitely agree with how you say the world is just around you.
Around
so
you.
like the universe, you are the center of the universe.
Hey, man.
I really like that idea.
Yeah.
It's a good idea because that is what that is.
That's, I think, in essence, what it is.
Because
and when you collapse at the end of your time, then that universe collapses in with you, and it goes back to one.
Yeah, when you're dead, the universe also ends.
Sorry, it goes back to zero, and then the zero recycles back to one. It's 0, 1, 0.
Yeah, it's definitely a good perspective.
And the thing is that for me, it puts us each as I don't know. I sometimes get annoyed with people, but I know that we're actually all the same, and we're actually meant to be. I don't have a Jews are this, or Muslims are that, or Christians are this, or blah blah blah.
Oh, it's really hot.
Take your hat off, man. Just Earth is flat, ladies. I got a flyer for you on the electromagnetic universe. Check it out. You can't prove curvature. Reading it. It's getting a little busier here.
Yeah.
My territory's getting invaded.
It's hot today.
Ah, it's a scorcher.